Good evening, YouTube. It's Tuesday practice week of Manx Grand Prix 2025. I'm down here at Quarter Bridge. You can tell how more quiet Manx Grand Prix is compared to the TT by me rocking up at Quarter Bridge 15 minutes before the practice starts, and I could get a parking space. I mean, look at that. There's still space there. Manx Grand Prix is much more quiet than the TT. It's the older, as an older bike's brother, but it's the more quiet brother of the TT. Today, I'm just going to try and grab you some footage from maybe Quarter Bridge and then maybe head up to the paddock after. Let's see what we find. Usual randomness, as you know from me, I never make a plan. But first, we still have about 10 minutes to go. Yeah, I said it's 10 too, so I have 9 minutes to go. I want to try something. So apparently 2 people have already been in trouble for flying drones during roads closed, which of course you are not allowed to do. And the first one surprised me because usually it's like, I don't know, people who maybe don't know better, or kids, or someone who maybe a bit immature. But the first dude who ended up in court and who got fined was an ex-copper. And you would think there's an ex-policeman, knows how to check these things, which is weird. And I noticed that in the news articles about what he said in his defense, it did say that his drone app did not warn him that it was a no-fly zone. So there's my drone. There's the remote control for it. And no, don't worry, I am not launching it or flying it. You can see it is switched on. So I can try this, but it is tied up. And the covers are on, so it stays in the car. I'm not even taking it out, and it is physically impossible for it to take off like this. As you can see, the propellers are all tied in. So just in case, I'm not going to launch it, basically, is my message, okay? So don't call the police on me. But I want to try if this model, this is a DJI 4K, which is a sub 249 gram or sub 250 gram model, which is the one you're allowed to freely use without much, drone wrecks and all that stuff. I want to try if DJI has the drone restrictions in it, because I've never actually tried it. I've never used the drone. If I know there's roads restrictions, and the restrictions come in 1 hour before roads closure, not just when the roads close, 1 hour before roads closure, do the no-fly restrictions come in. This is of course because the helicopters will go to positions and so on. So let's try if the DJI app actually warns me that there is a TFR, a temporary flight restriction. Let's try it, because I've never tried it. Okie dokie, excuse the state of the car. It always looks like this. There's the drone. It's switched on, and again it's tied up. It cannot start, it cannot launch, it cannot fly. Okay, it's impossible for it to do anything. There's the remote. Switched on. Let's go on, go fly. Okay, blah blah blah. Pre-flight. No, I don't need the tutorial. I've connected the other phone, that's why it does this. Okay, all it says is gimbal stuck, which is because I have the cover on it. But you can see the camera's working. I have no warnings. No warnings that there is a no-fly zone here or a TFR. That's surprising. That's not good. That is really not good. It should show me a TFR, a flight restriction. It should. Essentially, these things all have GPS, and this should automatically know that it's not allowed to fly now. So while that's not a total excuse for the poor guy who got done, or the 2 guys, I think, if they caught the second one, there were 2 drones in 2 days. It's not a total excuse for them, to get away with it. You should always, of course, do your own checks before you fly a drone anyway, if you're allowed to in that area and at that time. But it seems, and DJI is the most popular brand, of course, of drones. There's thousands of these things around. It seems nobody has added the TFRs to the app. So nobody, I don't know if this is a screw up by government or organizers or someone, but someone should have made sure that this app, the DJI app, and all the other drone apps have the temporary flight restrictions in. You can put them in. All the other racetracks do it. It's not hard. And nobody did it. So this guy probably relied on, the ex-copper that got done, probably relied on his DJI showing him if there's a TFR in place, a temporary restriction on use. And it didn't show anything. And of course, where he was caught in Craigna Bar is normally not a no-fly zone. It's not near the airport. It's totally fine to fly there. You've seen my footage from there during non-race days and with the supercars and stuff. And he probably thought, oh, the app's not showing anything. And he wasn't flying over the track as well. He was just hovering low. Maybe he wanted to do a flyby or something, you know, follow the bikes on the side, which I think is what he was trying to do. He wasn't even over the track. And it didn't show him that he's not allowed to fly there. Now, yes, he should have done his own checks, but I'm very surprised that nobody made sure the apps for the drones or the popular drones have the flight restrictions added, because that would automatically stop all the drones that are attempted to be flown during these times from taking off. It would give you, I think you can override it manually if you're really that mental, but it would be very, very clear to any responsible drone owner that, oh, there's a temporary restriction, I cannot fly here. So I'm very surprised that is not the case. This should have been done. I haven't tried it during TT. Now I'm guessing, knowing our lovely government, someone overlooked this, didn't do their job, and now they will scramble to add it and not admit that they forgot. And during next TT and next Manx Grand Prix, it will probably be there. Yeah, we'll revisit that. But I just wanted to try this before the race start, and we still have a few minutes. And yeah, to my surprise, nobody bothered to put a temporary flight restriction on them, which is a safety thing. I would say this is part of the risk assessment of the event, that you make sure this is done to automatically prevent drones from flying. But there you have it. So poor dude was fined and everything, and it is his fault. He should have checked, even with the automatic restriction in the app, if it had worked. But you should always check if you're allowed to fly. But yeah, that's why he thought he was allowed to fly when of course he wasn't, and nobody bothered to put the flight restrictions in. So hey, Isle of Man government and Manx Grand Prix organizers, maybe you want to do that, because that then prevents, you know, makes it safer for everyone if the bloody things can't fly automatically. Anyway, enough of the drone stuff. So we have 2 minutes. Let's head up Quarter Bridge, catch some of the evening action. think that were all of them going on to their first lap. So, and because it's so quiet, I'm going to try and head up to St Ninian's for the start of the second session. It should give me about, what, 10-15 minutes to get up there, quite leisurely. And hopefully I can find a parking space and give you a second angle for the start of the second session. Let's try. Look at this. This would be impossible during TT. I'm up at St Ninian's, I'm parked in the school, this tiny little car park up here. Doing TT, this is packed. Like, if you're not here an hour before, no chance of parking anywhere near. Loads of space. I'm just parked literally. There's the road. So it's great. So I think we're actually going to get lap 2 from the first session up at St Ninian. So I can show you even more. Yay. So let's do lap 2 from the first session up here. And then maybe go somewhere else again for the first lap of the second session. Does that make sense? Anyway, here's more bikes. Okay, that was the first session. Showed you a few there. Not all the ones from St Ninians because I had to take some footage for TikTok, but most riders. And now let's have a look. 1925. So those were the seniors and the super sports. 1925. So in 4 minutes we have the junior and super twins, which I'll do from Glencrutchery Road. Always a nice shot. So let's do that. Okie dokie, those were all the starters from the second session, coming down Glencrutchery Road. I think I'm gonna make it a short one tonight, so I'm gonna head off back home, still have some work to do. And let's try again tomorrow. Weather still looks good for all week. So I kind of screwed up the audio a little bit on the 360 paddock walk. I might try and fix it, or I might just try and do another paddock walk tomorrow in normal, like this format, for those who struggle with the 360 and to address that sound issue. So, but that's it for tonight. Like and subscribe. See you tomorrow from Manx Prix 2025. From Glencrutchery Road, it's over and out. Good night.